Hello artists. In this lesson we are going to design Gothic cathedrals. Gothic cathedrals were designed from the 1100s to the 1500s. One thing that Gothic cathedrals had in common were rose windows. Rose windows were giant stained glass windows that would let light into the Gothic cathedrals because there was really no electricity at the time, so there was no electric light. So they needed to have something that would light them up. So light from the sun would come through the rose windows and light up the whole cathedral. First, we are going to make our rose windows. First, we're going to trace some kind of circle to make our rose window. I'm using this little bowl. This little bowl is about 3.5 inches, and I think it's even a little big for this piece of paper. So I wouldn't go any more than that. Trace a circle and then cut it out using scissors. This is what we're going to make our rose window from. Now, rose windows were generally symmetrical, and we are going to make our rose windows symmetrical too. All of these shapes are symmetrical. If I folded them in half, the halves would match up, kind of like the symmetrical heart does that I made. I bet you've seen a lot of symmetrical things. Anytime if you folded something and it would match up perfectly on both sides, it is symmetrical. If something isn't symmetrical, it's called asymmetrical. If I can fold a shape in half in more than one way, those are called lines of symmetry. A lot of shapes and designs will have more than one way I can fold them to make them symmetrical. Rose windows are like that. So I'm going to take my circle, I'm going to fold it in half once, and then twice, and then 3 times. Now in this little section, I'm going to start to design some kind of design. I'm going to make shapes, lines, keep it simple, but have enough going on, because you're going to be copying this design over and over again. Once your design is finished, unfold one section and copy that design to the next section. I understand that you are not a computer, so it does not have to be perfect, but do your best to make the design look like the design on the other section. After you're done with that, fold out a different section and copy the design onto that section also. Keep doing this section by section, copying the same design onto the different sections until your entire rose window is covered with that design. Keep doing this section by section, taking your time, trying your best to make each section look like the other sections until you have the whole thing completed. If you do it this way, you will have a rose window with 4 lines of symmetry. Go over your lines in marker. I'm using a permanent marker because I want to use watercolors to finish mine off. If you're just going to color with normal markers, you can use normal markers for the whole time. But if you're going to use watercolors, use a permanent marker or a ballpoint pen or something to go over these lines, because normal markers will bleed. After that, you're going to color it with whatever medium you desire. You can use colored pencils, you can use Sharpies and watercolors, or you can just use normal markers to color. You could use crayons, whatever you choose. Just be careful and make sure the coloring is also symmetrical. So each section has the same colors in it. And there you go. There's my rose window. I hope you enjoy making your rose window too. The next step we're going to do in the next section is designing our Gothic cathedrals.